So hello and welcome to the Soul Adventure Guide Facilitators training. And we have again our lovely Jennifer Lyall, who's going to be talking to us in our part two of our training with her around how to attract your ideal clients. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Jennifer. I'm really grateful that you're with us again. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Lori. I love having delicious conversations like this with people who are just ripe and ready to step into their power, their energy. So, for those of you who may not remember or who are new to this conversation, my name is Jennifer Lyall. I'm an intuitive business mentor, and I help establish female entrepreneurs with focusing on their best ideas and boosting their vibration so that they can attract the best clients, more opportunities, and make a bigger impact and more income. And how I do this is through one-on-one sessions and group programs. And it really is about you getting really clear on who you are, what you have to offer, getting clarity around that, understanding who it is that you really want to connect with, and then helping you with managing your energy so that you are in the perfect vibration that's in alignment with your ideal client so that they're attracted to you. And also, you have to hang out where your client is, right? Because if you are not in the places where your ideal client is, it's going to be a little harder for them to find you. They will eventually, but why make it difficult? Why not just be there and let them see and witness your awesomeness? So I want you to just take a pause and consider and think about, who are you currently being in your business? Do you find that you are already quite magnetic? Or do you find you feel a little awkward and maybe you're stumbling over your words? You're still trying to find the right words to express what you do. Are people really drawn to you and curious, or do they not get what you do because the language that you're using isn't connecting with them? And for some people, if they're not your ideal client, that's okay. But your ideal client needs to be able to understand what you do and how you're there to serve. So today what we're going to do is we're going to review 3 areas. First, we're going to take inventory. I'm going to invite you to take inventory to look at what you're already doing and what you're already offering, and just kind of have that present. And then we're going to look at what your ideal target market is. And I'm going to show you a really cool tool. I'm going to give you a link to it, and I'm going to walk you through it because it is so amazing. And it helps you with identifying your target market. Then we're going to talk about an avatar, which is a person represented within your target market. We're going to talk about, where does your ideal client hang out, and making sure that you are where they're hanging out. And then you also need to make sure that you're in the best vibration possible when you are hanging out there, so that they are really curious about you and you are magnetic and attractive, and it just gets to be easier to connect with people. The sales conversations aren't really sales conversations, they're just connection conversations. And if there's resonance, then it happens. And if it doesn't, then that's okay. There's no fear. It's just possibility and joy. All right, sound good? Awesome. Okay. Oh, very good. Both connected and comfortable. First approach at flow after our start. Very good. So it sounds like Eileen's just kind of stepping into her truth, which is great. You're finding your legs with the maybe the language, and then as you get that confidence, then you'll be able to step into it more and more confidently. So thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So let's take a moment to take a look first at how you're working. Have you ever paused to consider what your values are and how you really want to work? Like, do you want to work weekends? Do you only want to work weekdays? Do you want to work days? Do you want to work evenings? Are you really passionate about being able to work from your own home, or do you really like privacy in your own space? And that's a really important value, and you want to work outside of your home. Do you really honor the environment, and so you want to make sure that there's the least amount of footprint possible when people interact with you? So maybe you focus on serving your clients virtually. It's really important that you think about what your values are, both personally and professionally, to make sure that you set up your business in a manner that's in alignment with your values. So if family time is really important to you, yet you're finding that you're working 60, 80 hours a week, you're out of alignment. And then that drains your energy, and then it impacts how you're able to serve your clients and attract clients too. You also need to be aware of, is this in alignment with my soul's purpose? Now, with who I'm talking to here, I think I'm preaching to the choir. I sense that you probably have an idea of what your soul's purpose is, and it evolves as we evolve too. We get greater depth out of it. And just to ensure that what you're doing is truly in alignment with your purpose, because it can be sort of in alignment, but kind of over here. And you want to make sure that it is truly in alignment with what you're here to do. And then also reflecting on, are you achieving the revenue goals that you have for your business? And taking time to reflect on, okay, if I'm not, what is it that's going on? Are you having problems with attracting clients, retaining clients? Are you having problems with having enough clients to achieve those revenue goals? Are you truly pricing your services or your products appropriately to be able to achieve the goals that you have? Do you need to revisit your service or product offerings to ensure that you have a variety of incomes so that you're not just depleting yourself and you're able to achieve those goals? And that leads into the next step of reviewing your products and services. Do you absolutely love delivering them? Or do they need to be tweaked or evolved? Maybe they were great for you to get started, and now that you've been doing this for a while, you're like, oh, okay, I say I do this, but when I look at the work that I'm actually doing with my clients, these are the results that I'm getting for them. And I'm finding I'm really attracting X type of client. So getting present to that, well, first of all, giving yourself the space to reflect on that, and then really getting present to who it is that you're serving, what it is that you're offering, and making sure that it lights you up. That is really huge. And is this really what your clients want? Are you delivering the services that your clients want? Or do you find that, they love what they're experiencing, but they really want a little bit more or a little bit deeper, or maybe a little bit less? Maybe you're over delivering and your clients would rather have a shorter session or a shorter interaction, or maybe they want something that they can take home to implement after the session. What is it that your clients really want? Do you know? Have you surveyed them? Have you asked them? Doing a client survey, I'm sure that you're familiar, you may be familiar with a resource called SurveyMonkey. I'm going to type that in the chat there. It's a online survey tool, and you can create a free account and ask up to 10 questions, or you can pay, I can't remember, like $10 a month or $20 a month. And if you want to create a longer survey and to a bigger audience, you can use this to send out a note to your past clients and current clients and say, hey, I'd love to know what it is that you really enjoyed about your experience working with me. What was the problem that you came to me with? How did my product or service help you? And what are some insights that you'd like me to know about what you got out of the service? And with this, you also want to ask at the bottom, because they're probably going to give you some really juicy information. You're also going to want to ask if they would be willing to provide a testimonial, right? Because as they're sharing what they got out of you, out of their experience with working with you, those are testimonials that will be golden on your website, because those are the messages that resonate with people. So having that there, somebody in their actual words, their words, it puts out it puts out a really phenomenal insights to people who are considering working with you, to know, well, what is the experience like? Because they don't know you yet, and they want to know, can they really trust this person? What sorts of things can I expect to have happen? So using SurveyMonkey to take a quick survey from your existing clients and past clients to find out where they were, how you helped, and maybe how they shifted. And maybe you have some other questions that you're considering. You know, maybe I'm thinking doing a group program. Would this interest you? Or I'm thinking doing a retreat. Would you want to do a retreat within Canada or within North America? Or what's your budget for a retreat? Would you consider doing that? So you can do some questioning around some products and services that you're considering. So this will help you as you're reviewing things and get the information from your clients using their language. And when you get those words from them, then you have the exact language that your clients use, and you can use it in your marketing when you're doing Facebook posts, when you're doing Instagram posts, when you're creating new sales offers, your landing pages, your website, your emails. So for instance, when I was learning about this several years ago, my coach at that time, he was telling me about a project that he was working on with another a fitness instructor. And as they surveyed their clients, one term that came up a few times that they never would have thought of was that their female clients wanted no touch thighs. And this was not something they could have expressed. So then they started using that language, no touch thighs, in their marketing, and boom, they were able to connect with more people because that was a result that a lot of people could relate to. And for their target market, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, sign me up. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Does this make sense? Yeah, awesome. All right. Next, you're going to want to identify your target market. So your primary target market is the group of people or businesses who are a best match for who you intend to serve. And you cater your products and services to meet their needs. Now, companies typically have a primary target market and a secondary target market, and sometimes a tertiary target market. Entrepreneurs tend to focus on just a primary target market as they get started. And then you might expand to a secondary target market. So for me, my primary target market are female entrepreneurs who are spiritually focused and who are already established in their business. My secondary target market is the corporate world because I'm stepping into doing more speaking and presentations for the corporate world around wellness and mindfulness. So that's an example of a secondary target market. I put the bulk of my efforts in speaking to this audience because those are the people that I'm going to be able to best serve and who will most likely want to resonate with working with me. Now, if there's somebody that is not in my primary target market, like I've worked with some men, I'm not going to turn them away just because it's like, nope, sorry, I don't work with men, or I just don't work with that market. If it's something that still is in alignment with my values and I feel that I can truly be of service to this person and help them with the results that they're hoping to achieve, I'll say yes. But I'm just not going to put any of my efforts marketing to that individual. So another example would be, let's say you had a product and you made widgets, and these widgets were meant for door stoppers to hold the door open. And then somehow, but you made them really beautiful and you didn't want them to just be like any little door stopper. You wanted them to be really pretty. And then somehow an art gallery got a hold of these and thought, oh my goodness, these are fantastic. I want them to prop up some of my art pieces. And I've got 10 galleries and I want to order 1,000 of them. Well, you're not going to turn them away just because they're not your primary target audience, but you're not going to spend your marketing dollars and efforts necessarily marketing to them unless that's something that's in alignment with you and who you want to serve. So for instance, if you had a passion for the art, then maybe you might want to serve them. But if you really wanted to focus on maybe hotels just with those door stoppers, then you continue to focus there. So you want to get really, really good at serving your primary market before you even consider focusing on a secondary market. So you want to have that as a really well-oiled machine. You want to have all your systems in place. You want to have all of your like your pages set up for them. You want to know what your conversations are like, your programs are like, your servers are like. You want to have that established. And so it's easy and effortless for you to deliver that and ensure that you have the bandwidth to serve that market before you even look at a secondary target market. All right, so let's talk about an avatar. So an avatar is a character that represents your ideal customer, and it gives a name and it builds a profile for what that customer's habits, challenges, values, and needs are. And understanding this helps you have like a picture of who you can speak to when you're creating your marketing, when you're deciding what events to participate in. And let's say your avatar name is Sally, then you can say, all right, so would Sally be at an event like this? And that can help you decide where you want to spend your time, your marketing dollars, and your energy in having a presence and serving to make sure that you're picking opportunities of where your ideal target market, your primary target market, is going to be hanging out. So I'm going to walk you through a really cool tool that is not 100% relevant for service-based businesses, but all of the steps that it takes you through will give you a really solid foundation for creating your avatar, and it will give you a really good sense for how to go through this process. So I'm going to post. Awesome. So you've got an avatar for the Soul Adventure program. Perfect. So this is the resource. So if you want to copy that and look at it afterwards, I'm going to take you through it right now though. All right. So I encourage you to download this guide, What is a Buyer Persona? Because it will give you more insights into this conversation about creating an avatar. So HubSpot's just calling it a persona, but it's the same thing as an avatar. It's just a same thing for different language for the same thing. So we're going to go over here to build my persona. So step one is you pick an image to represent the individual of who your target market is. So I'm going to pick a woman. And sorry, I've got to adjust my screen here so I can click through to the next step. Here we go. Okay, so I picked my avatar. Oh, I got to name her. So I'm going to call her Sally. And click through to the next step. How old are they? So for me, Sally is probably around 45 to 54. Highest degree of level of school, I would say the highest degree, probably bachelor's degree. Industry, most likely, see, this is where it's not quite as relevant. So I'm just going to call it healthcare. And the size of organization is that they're likely self-employed. What's their job title? So it would be the CEO. How is their job measured? By customer satisfaction, revenue, and impact in the world. Who do they report to? Themselves. What are their goals or objectives? So a lot of my clients are focused on transforming the world, wanting time and financial freedom, and a sense of alignment in their work. And I can, okay. So what tools do they use or need to do their job? So gosh, we need everything, right? Accounting, CRM, so that's customer relationship management system, email, invoicing, word processing, and probably cloud-based storage. Their consumption habits. So do they take online courses? So yeah, they go to networking events, conferences, and online courses, and work with a coach of some sort. And what social networks do they belong to? Facebook, Instagram, and probably LinkedIn. And then here's the dashboard of what this person looks like. So now we have the name of Sally, their age, their education, the social network. So these are the places then where I need to hang out in order for Sally to see me. Preferred method of communication. I think that for my target market, it's a lot of Facebook Messenger and also email. Job responsibilities, so I would be entering information in there about all the things that they do, and this is how they gain information. They also would be going reading magazines and blogs, and this is where I would identify specific magazines and specific blogs, because then I can say, all right, if I know that my primary target market hangs out a lot on this website, Huffington Post, for instance, or Elephant Journal, then I want to do my best to get my name associated with that brand, because I want to be where they're hanging out. I want to submit articles, comment on articles in that area, on those platforms. Tools they need to do their job. So having an understanding of these tools that they need to do their job so that I can support them in being successful in their roles. Now, I don't have to be a whiz in all of these, but having a solid foundation and knowing tools and resources that, sorry, chat, I can see there's two chats. Ooh. Yeah, it's free. Yeah, it is. This is free. And then you'll get it you'll get it by email. You have to give them your email. Knowing how their job is measured. Oh, so back here, even if I don't have total expertise in these items, I can build my network of resources of where to direct people to. Because if I see that coming up as a recurring need, then it's important for me to at least direct them to, here's a great website that has phenomenal information, or here's a colleague of mine that is an expert in this. I encourage you to follow them because they're going to be providing you with the value and information that you need. Their job is measured by, so knowing what are the results that they want to get so that you can use that information in your marketing, and what their goals and objectives are. And again, so you want to be using that in your marketing and understanding what the biggest challenges are, so you can speak to that when you're having conversations, when you're creating your elevator pitch, sharing what it is the problem that you solve for people. And also helps you with creating content. If you're doing blog posts, if you're doing articles to contribute to some of those websites, or creating presentations that you want to deliver, you want to address what these biggest challenges and these goals and objectives are. And so I can download or export, and then it will download. In order to download it, it's going to ask me for my email address. I'm not going to do it right now, but that's how you do it. It's really, really simple. And okay, it'd be great if we could, if it was more personal goals. Yes, it doesn't have that option. However, you can see how it's laid out, and you can take the core of it, like 3/4 of it still relevant for you, and then you can just expand on it in another Word document with a chart. So you still have a solid foundation. You have an idea of what the questions are to ask and the things to get more specific on, so that you can create this perfect image and avatar for your business. So as you go through that other little guidebook that they offer, they also talk about how the persona or the avatar changes as the customer works with you more. So somebody who just signs up for a freebie for your email list, their avatar is going to be a little different than somebody who's worked with you for, say, a year, or who has attended several of your events, or bought one of your services, or who has been following you for a couple of years. So you will notice that there are slightly different avatars for people who are at different stages of interaction with you. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions or comments? Yeah, organizations and objectives. Okay. So yes, and as we're hanging out in the world, we can make note of the words. Yes, they're asking the questions on social media. Yes, absolutely. And when you're making your posts, noticing which ones get a lot of interaction, a lot of comments, and also saving those posts. So I have a number of posts that I've saved on Facebook so I can go back and refer to it when I'm doing marketing campaigns. So when I do a launch, I have the Facebook post that I use for promoting it. I see what the engagement is. And then when I'm doing my post evaluation, I incorporate some of the languaging so that I have that all handy, so that when I go to do that program again, or if I'm tweaking it, I have some information, the words of the actual potential clients that I can incorporate into it, so I know that I'm speaking directly to them. Yeah, a swipe file. Exactly. That's perfect. Okay. So once you are clear on who your target audience is, then you need to really be aware of where they're hanging out, right? So Sally probably reads Huffington Post. She would shop at stores like Whole Foods, Nature's Emporium. She would maybe wear like Lululemon. She would be attending some of the more higher end networking events. She would be wanting to be out there in the community a bit, but also busy with serving her clientele. She's somebody who would already be investing in self-care, so might even be at some of the spas or the yoga studios and taking good care of herself. And then with that information, and because she is an entrepreneur, attending some of the local entrepreneurial events, and because I want them to be more spiritually aligned, then it's the ones that have a little bit of a spiritual slant to it. So once I have this idea of where Sally's hanging out, then that's how I know where to make sure that I have my presence, because we have a limited time and a limited marketing budget. So we want to make sure that where we're spending our time and money, that we're putting ourselves in front of our ideal target market. And sometimes you need to attend events a few times to just get a sense of, is this truly where I want to hang out? You notice the topics that they're talking about at their events. You can kind of get a bit of an idea by who is actually attending, if you're able to see the RSVP list, if it's an Eventbrite list, or if it's on Meetup, you can see that, or if there's a Facebook event and you can see other people who have RSVP'd, that will give you a sense. So there is the step of allowing yourself to be seen. I sincerely apologize. I forgot to turn off my ringer, so please disregard that. So you need to allow yourself to be seen. And this is about feeling worthy of working with your clients and believing in yourself. You need to value your work. So this comes in the form of clearing limiting beliefs, clearing old patterns of stuck energy. And I think that pretty much everybody in this group has some tools in their toolbox, right? To actually bring this to life and to clear this, right? Is everybody doing something that's spiritually aligned? And if not, then you have a fantastic group right here that you can access to get extra support with clearing through this. And sometimes it can take place through conversation. It can take place through just reading something and noticing, oh my gosh, this is really triggering me, and doing some journaling, or doing some deeper work with an experienced practitioner is also very valuable. Sometimes when we like to try to do all the work ourselves, it's fantastic, and we might be able to get 80% there, but then we also have to find that time to do it, because we don't always put ourselves number one on the list. But if we actually schedule some time with somebody, then we're actually going to show up. We tend to be able to surrender a little bit more because we're not thinking of the process, and we're able to really get in alignment. Okay, thanks for being so honest there, Grace, and sharing that's what you're struggling with right now. So it sounds like taking that time to truly go within and looking at what are some of the things that are triggering you. What are some of the stories that are coming up around feeling worthy to serve people and feeling like you are worth what you want to charge, and also that you're going to deliver value for what you charge. Okay, I'm just going to take a moment to read Lori's comment. So I'd say the biggest thing people who are playing the game are that they are on their spiritual awakening. Yes, focused on finding and living their purpose, new ways of being, healing limiting beliefs, feeling empowered. Yeah, right now where they can be so they can stay consistent. Game builds. Yes. So yeah, using the game to help you with diving in. Absolutely. And because you are tuning in every single day, and that gives you that expanded self-awareness and identifying some of those things that would trigger you. Awesome. All right. So do you want to talk about this at all anymore, or do you any questions around this? I think you get the general idea. We have to do the work on ourselves in order to be able to truly show up. And then it takes just ignoring that little voice in our head and just saying, okay, I'm going to do this anyways. I am a little scared, but I'm excited at the same time, and stepping forth and recognizing it's not nearly as big a deal as we have in our head. And really, we can do it. And it's not going to be perfect from the beginning, and that's okay. It's an evolution, right? So just being courageous and recognizing and acknowledging what you're doing well, and realizing what still needs some attention, and giving that the extra TLC. Okay, well, why am I not able to do this? What's going on? What's that little voice that's inside of me as I get quiet and I listen? Is there like an inner gremlin? Is there an inner child? What's going on? How can I give space for it to be heard? And also find out the shadow side of it. We think the stuff that comes up's all bad, and yet there's this shadow work where it's really been put in place to help protect us in some way from an old paradigm from the past that might not even be valid now. So giving that energy the space to be heard so that you're able to work through it and let it know that it's okay, it's safe, and that you're ready to move past it. That's huge. All right. So once you are feeling confident about showing up and about taking responsibility for your energy so that you're feeling like the best version of yourself before you have interactions with your target market, then you want to hang out where your target audience is hanging out. Learn their language, learn their needs, their challenges, and how what you do relieves their problems. So if you've identified websites, for instance, or magazines where your target audience would be hanging out, what are the headlines? What are the articles that are getting a lot of comments? If you're looking at Facebook groups and you're seeing a trend of some particular issues on posts, in the posts, looking at what are the questions that are coming up, what are the solutions that are being offered, is there a gap that you're witnessing that you'd be able to help people with, or what is there that you can just learn about the people who are making those posts, what's their background. And as you start to learn what their needs and challenges are and how what you do relieves their problems, then you start compiling the language and practice using that language. And you just keep refining it as you go along. You don't have to have it all figured out and mastered from the start, but you just start a conversation and see how it goes, and what words and what words, what strings of words, what sentences, what conversations really uh, stir people and get them to really think and also be aware of what could be possible for a shift. I'm just going to take a quick peek here. Great. Yeah, the Facebook group. Absolutely. Our alignment practice evolves alongside when we're vulnerable. Yes, absolutely. I love that. Thanks, Aline. Notice the messaging with Avon. Pretty awesome. Seeing the language over. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So, Aline, that's really demonstrating to you that you're really in alignment, because you're seeing that messaging showing up all over the place. It's like, yes, yes, yes. People are ready for the conversations that I want to have. Yes. New Age spiritual events, Facebook places. Yes. Awesome. You're speaking to them and looking for it. Awesome. So let's review some of the different places where you might find them. Facebook groups, if you're targeting entrepreneurs or corporate, you might be looking at LinkedIn groups. networking groups and networking events, industry events, fundraising events. So if there are specific charities, like for me, I love Burlington Green. So I like attending Burlington Green events. And so that fills my bucket. And I feel like I'm supporting Mother Earth. And then I'm also meeting amazing people who are in alignment with my values, and I'm in alignment with their values. It could be courses. So your own personal development, you'll be meeting other people of like mind at those courses as well. Personal development events like retreats, spa days, yoga centers, gym centers, crystal stores, magazines, websites, podcasts, noticing what podcasts are getting a lot of listens, a lot of likes, radio, TV. And then you show up at these places by attending events, speaking at events, sponsoring events, having a booth at events, taking the courses, offering courses, joining yoga studios or gyms, shopping at places where your target market shops, giving presentations at the places where your target market shops. Like Nature's Emporium has a teaching room, Whole Foods has a teaching room. So you can offer your workshops in these locations, and then you'll be seen by your ideal target audience. Offering to do a workshop at the stores where your target market shops, submit a blog post to websites where your target markets get information. Also, developing partnerships with earlier when we're looking at the avatar, and we looked at the types of things and tools that your client, your ideal client, will need to use. Well, then if that's not your zone of genius, partnering with somebody who has it as their zone of genius, and their clients might be struggling with exactly what you serve, and you're developing a referral partner. So you can do exchanges where maybe you could do a joint workshop together, or you can do posts on each other's pages, Facebook Lives on each other's pages, Instagram Lives together. If you have the technology, you can also apply to be a guest on a podcast, submit pitches to magazines, submit media releases and pitches to radio and TV. So you really want to demonstrate your knowledge and expertise and connect heart to your prospective clients. Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to take a peek at the chat, and then we can open up to questions. Huge spiritual awakening happening for so many of us. We show up and share our experience with the language they are using. Yes, to catch their attention and focus on the benefits. During the workshops, mini games, events. Yes, incorporate with what our modalities are. Yes, yes, yes. So really pulling together the soul adventure game with your modalities, using it as a tool to because what I love about the game is it's interactive. It really engages people. So it's a wonderful way to bring another level of depth to your offerings already. All right. So does anybody have any questions? And then you can just go ahead and unmute yourself. I covered a lot here. Did you get any clarity on anything in here? Do you need me to unmute people?
Oh, I did it. I think
yeah,
I can unmute them.
Yeah, I think you can unmute yourself too.
Yeah. That was great. I think, yeah, it is going to be definitely a thing we have to practice and keep refining until we feel comfortable. It's like that. I keep hearing this analogy and I love it. Like a piece of steel is worth, whatever. And then you refine it more, and then you keep refining it till you get like this beautiful thing. So we're the same. We have to keep refining our messaging, refining our how we're going to engage people. So trying different things and being totally okay with however it goes, and not looking at it as a failure. So taking your modality of Reiki or hypnosis or whatever it is, and gathering a few people, like maybe starting with people that you're close to, that that are going to be supportive and that are going to give you their honest feedback, and then asking for that feedback, and then readjusting and tweaking it and doing it again and doing it again, and every time you do it, you're like doing that offering, whether it's in person or online or whatever. Every time you do it, you're going to feel more comfortable. It's really is the getting started is the the biggest hurdle. It really, really is. So I really want to encourage everyone, like when you are deciding to do that, reach out to us to support you. Even if we cannot be there with you, we can support you, you know, just checking in and, you know, celebrating and answering questions. And so we can get over that hurdle of getting started. And I think once you get started and you get, I know for myself, once you get that under your belt, that video or that event, you do build your confidence. Yeah, you're like, okay, that didn't quite go as I thought, but it's okay, because that is something to work on, you know, and keep doing that refining. So it's an evolution in itself, us learning how to put ourselves out there. So I love how, you know, you have to go through those steps that you shared and then just say, okay, this is what I, you know, and I would say every single one of us can totally channel that through, you know, going within and what does my business want to share? What are people looking for? And go with what your intuition is prompting you to do, and then just do it on a small scale if that's what you can handle, and then go bigger, right?
And I also believe that being nervous is okay too.
Yeah,
So for instance, for
absolutely.
me on the weekend, I've led circles for women. I did that for 2 years. And with that, I would do ceremonies for the equinoxes. And I haven't done it for over a year. And so I was at a women's business retreat on the weekend. And so it was the equinox on Monday. So on Saturday night, we had this gorgeous ceremony with 60 women. 60 women. It's like, oh my
Wow.
gosh, that I co-facilitated with another beautiful soul. And we were just both very honest. Like, okay, I've got notes. I've led like a half a dozen of these circles before, but I'm going to still refer to my notes. And then my co-facilitator, she's like, okay, this is like the biggest group, so I'm a little bit nervous. And everyone was just like so wonderful and welcoming. And for probably about 80% of the people, they were so curious and appreciative of just having the opportunity to experience it, because it's something they were curious about, but never had the opportunity to do that before. So there are people who, as nervous as you are, they have no idea if you're screwing up or not, or if anything's wrong, or you're creating the most magical first experience for them. So just going out there and doing it.
And also I'll say to that, like that, when the universe, God, spirit, whatever it is for you, when they see us taking that, saying yes and showing up and going for it, they're going to support us. They're going to send the people, you know, so you decide to open up again and you got like 60 people, like how amazing is that? But you know, I really believe that we're going to get what we need, right? So if we need a small supportive group and we ask for that and we show up and we just trust, that's going to show up. And if we need to learn something out of that, you know, whatever it is, trust that that's okay. Whatever happens, however it unfolds, it's what you're supposed to be experiencing. You're going to gain the learning and the growth from it. And we're always taken care of. So really going, you know, our mind is going to try to stop us, but really coming back to these truths that we all know, we've all heard it. I know everybody on this call knows these things. We just have to keep reminding ourselves, right? That it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to make a mistake. People don't know I'm missing to telling them this or that, right? And people genuinely want us to succeed. It's not like they're sitting there saying, oh, okay, let's wait for her to mess up so we can, you know, throw a tomato at her. No one's doing that, but that's what our mind will try to convince us is like, it's going to be the end of the world.
And it won't.
And it won't, yeah. But I think having the experience, getting that under your belt, then you are going to have more confidence every time. It's going to build and build and build.
And I really truly believe that in maintaining our own high vibration, that is like 80% of it, right? When we are
100%.
feeling good, it's just easier to share what we do. It's when our vibe is low, we're worried, right? We're in those lower emotions. That's when the doubt and fear come in, and that's when we stumble over our words. But when we're feeling happy, we're going to share some pretty good stuff. We're going to be channeling the message that person needs to hear, quite frankly.
And I really like now when I have an event, I really focus the couple days before boosting like really raising my vibration, just doing a lot of self-care, you know, just all the different things that I do to really bring myself, and then visioning how it's going to unfold perfectly in my mind and feeling all the amazing feelings. And when I can bring my vibration up to that, oh my gosh, it always is amazing. But I've done it where I haven't, and it's flat. I go flat. So it's such an important thing to, you go into it with more confidence and more faith and trust that it's going to be fine. It's going to be great.
Yes, and if anybody's ever been to any of the Tony Robbins events, or if you haven't, one of the strategies that he uses is he gets you literally jumping up and down, and you're like, yes, 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 whoa! Because even just 2 minutes of that, it changes your physiology, so you feel more confident. So even if you just put on your favorite song, or if you're going to a networking event or making a presentation, have your like motivational playlist that you listen to that gets you pumped up.
Yeah.
So you feel awesome and
absolutely ready. Yeah, whatever it is for you. Yeah. And for me, movement is big too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone has questions, please, I just wanted to point those things out.
Okay, so Aline's just shared here, the story I'm telling myself is getting paid for this, as for years I've worked full-time in another business. So I have been a philanthropist of giving my time and energy. My energy shift of being paid for energy exchange is a limiting belief. I'm slowly upping my monetary value alongside my energy exchange. Yay! I value me, yet I hold back when it's getting paid, and holistic energy, I think that is. I believe work on extreme value to reach people who would benefit. Playing small, not serving anyone. I'm energetically high vibe, so an exchange of energy is not important. Okay. So Aline, what comes up for me is as I'm reading your post, is you really do logically know what you need to do, and energetically it feels like you're coming into alignment, and it's just building that muscle more and more. And what's fascinating for me is for when we start to show our true selves out there, the right people who truly value what we do, they show up. And it's incredible how much money people will truly pay for your services. The thing is that if you want to work with people who do not have a scarcity mindset, that's something that you really need to work on yourself, because you're going to be continuously attracting people that are at the same value, same financial set point, and the same values as you, of not same values, sort of the same limiting beliefs that you're working through. That's who's going to show up, and you have to blast through it.
Vibe, yeah.
I was the same as Ellen. I was, at the beginning when I first started the Reiki business, was I wanted to share it. I didn't want money for it, because I just wanted to share it and how make people feel good. And what I realized is the exchange of money is an exchange of energy. And so I started at a very reasonable amount that I was charging people for it, and that was fine, and I was good with that. But I've been encouraged by people that it needs to go up, and I'm finding it easier now to ask for the higher amount.
Nice.
I don't get a lot of people going, "Are you kidding me?" kind of thing. So, and I think what we do is, you're talking about, we anticipate the worst in a situation, is we tend to catastrophize everything. We think, it's going to be, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, instead of just saying, this is going to be awesome. Everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah, I love that word. And it's so true. We think of the worst rather than looking at what's the best option. So we undervalue what we're going to be able to accomplish, who we'll be able to attract. So we always focus on the worst. So the problem isn't that that we're not really following through. It's just that we're aiming too low. And then when we aim lower rather than aim, because if we aim for the moon, shoot for the moon, shoot for the stars and land on the moon. That's the saying, right? You shoot for the stars, you land on the moon. That's still pretty fantastic. But if you're just, aiming for the next community over, you're aiming really low, and it doesn't cause you to kind of step up your energy as much as you could in order to attract the people.
And expecting the worst to happen is not helping the vibration at all.
No.
And your anxiety just increases. You just feel nervous. And so when you do what you're doing, whether it's speaking or whatever, you're so nervous that you can't even speak properly. You can't communicate clearly as to what you want or what you're trying to explain.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then Aline just added, due to having a good income in the past, I've minimized my getting back from my giving. Yeah, because it was just there, the paycheck just came in all the time. You didn't have to continuously ask for that paycheck all the time. Mm-hmm. And now you need to really honor and own your worth. Awesome. Yes. Upping your inner ante. Yes. I love it. Perfect. Are there any other questions about getting clear on what it is that you're offering, making sure that what you're offering and the way you're working is in alignment with yourself, and identifying your avatar? Yeah. Beautiful. Any other questions on the conversation from today? No. Awesome. If you need any further support, you can reach out, and happy to help. And this is sort of the work that I do, as we do a deeper dive, and I work with clients one-on-one, and then also over for a single session and over a 3-month or 9-month period too.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, so I'll share your email again, and if anyone has questions, they can reach out. And that's amazing. I think this is such an important part of our business, is to get clear on this and to be okay of being just a little bit outside of our comfort zone, because every time we do, we are growing. You don't grow in that comfort zone. If you're comfortable, that means you're not growing, right? And yes, we got to grow, and then we got to take a little break and integrate that, but then you want to grow some more. So when you feel that, for me, I noticed that when we feel that immediate no, that usually means that's something that I should be doing. But it will be better for me. It will help me to grow and evolve. So I think we can all, I think this is just a lot of food for thought, that we can really look at our businesses and how we're incorporating the game, because like I said, the game really does add value, and it sets you guys apart from everyone else, from all the other Reiki practitioners and the hypnosis and the support people. Like you have something different that does work, that is simple, easy, fun. People are looking for those kind of solutions. It's just about us bringing that language in, that we can convey those things. So sharing your own experiences, like I would say, is one of the best, or your clients' experiences is one of the best things. Yeah. Thank you so much for this, Jennifer.
Oh, my honor.
Anyone else have something to say though, or before?
I would like to just talk about, or just tell you about my big takeaway here. What came to me, that's a real big challenge for me, is what I'm finding. And then I realized my answer too in this. But I'm really attracting a lot of businesses that really don't know what they need, and they want me to provide the solutions. And then it ends up being a consulting situation. And then I do put all my energy and time and skills into the solutions, and then they really don't want it. They're not ready to move forward. And I really struggle with knowing the difference when I'm interviewing a client. My intuition is telling me more and more, no, this is not the type of work that I want to do. This is not where it's not in alignment with my purpose. And so, that's a real struggle. Like, how do I determine if they really want what I offer, or if they're just fishing for my skills for free? And then I realize maybe I don't really know what I need in my business, and that's why I'm attracting it.
There you go. Yes, I do agree that whatever we're putting out there is the type of client, and it's a reflection of where we are in our own personal solution. So I would go back to that step one of taking inventory of what is it that you offer, really getting clear on who you're serving. And it's not that you want it to be a really broad audience, you want it to be narrowed down. So even that tool that I shared, that's a really broad audience. So narrowing down more specifically from there will help you with getting really amazing language that talks to a particular person. So for instance, for me, those narrowing it down from businesses, just female entrepreneurs, narrowing it down to, well, they got to be in North America or English speaking Europe.
Yes.
I can't do Australia. I know that the time difference doesn't allow me to properly serve those people, so that helps. I know that there are probably between 40 and 60 years of age. I know that they're in a service-based business. I know that they're more spiritually focused. I know that they like to do things like yoga and meditate. I know that they are already experienced in their business and they have some systems in place. They're already spending money on other services, so they value their time enough to know that they don't want to struggle with figuring things out. That already delineates things. Now I can get really specific and say that I just want to work with holistic practitioners, and then not serve people that might be in other industries like finance, or finance is another type of clientele that I tend to attract. So if I can narrow it down even that much, or it just is that narrowing down and really thinking about who have you most enjoyed working with and who's really saying yes. Because if you try to circle, like, don't totally create your work to suit them. Have your work that's your zone of genius. And if they say, yeah, that's what I need, okay, great. If they want you to create something just for them, that's not really what you do. Does that help at all?
Yes, it does. And yes, I've been doing that.
Good.
Definitely. But I like what you said there at the end. It was really helpful. I've been creating what I offer to be exactly what I am willing to offer. Rather than not specifically for one client.
Somebody, I was at a little networking, a networking event this week, and the speaker was talking about when you get people that want to pick your brain. They just, can I just pick your brain for a moment? And she'll say to them, yes, for $300, you can have it all. And if they want it badly enough, they pay for it. And if they're just picking, they just want to get what they can for nothing, then no.
And that's not your ideal client then too.
Right.
I would also add, Evelyn, that what I've done to just weed out those ones is, if someone wants to have a call with me, they have to fill out a questionnaire. And I can get a lot of information that you would probably spend time talking to them on the phone and them humming and hawing and, from that questionnaire. So they don't even get on the phone with you until they've filled that out. And you preface that this is so that we can get really clear, and then I know that I'm able to serve you, because you're going to know right then and there if they're not for you based on those answers. And then you can, when you do have the call, you can, point them in the direction that you think they would be best serve them, or whatever. But I found that was a huge waste of my time, was, like you say, were people that just want the free stuff all the time. And, we're all big heart-centered people. We want to serve and we want to support people. But so doing that, and that's just going to, and also when you get on the phone with them, you have so much information already that you can really narrow in and get right to the point. And you tell them that this is so that you can make the best use of both of your time, and you can get really clear. And it's just been such a great thing. And it's so interesting how, as soon as I created that survey or that questionnaire, somebody booked it like a couple days later, and I hadn't had a call booked in a while. And then I did that. So it's like I said to the university, come on, send me some, and someone went through it right away. but it was so good. You can, you know, if you have a call system or use Acuity or whatever, you can set that up.
Actually,
Or even
I have one.
SurveyMonkey. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one that I haven't used, but it's more focused, streamlined to what your needs. But I can
Tweak it, and
narrow
then
it down to just a
that's
few
your
questions.
consult right there. It's your app that you ask all those questions right there.
Right.
And then, you know, you'll have a lot of info. And it's also going to help them get clear, because a lot of times people get on these calls and they're not clear, and it really helps them to get clarity. Like, that's one of the first questions I ask is, do you receive intuitive guidance? Because I truly don't know if I want to work with someone who's not. So right there, if they say no, I know that's a little flag that, okay, I'm gonna, you know, I haven't had anyone say no yet. However, you know, if they said no, that would probably kind of, you know, show me that they're probably not my ideal client.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Jen.
I would just also add, if you have a question on there, asking them, are you willing to spend X amount of dollars on this?
Yeah.
Qualified people.
At the end, I have, are you willing to invest in yourself? Are you ready to make a change? Are you, you know, I have those qualifying questions, because if they say no, you know right away that they're not, you know, that they're not, they're just fishing.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to bring attention to what Eileen commented. I really like this. I believe when we get clear, it creates safeness for the client too, as they know what is the boundary.
Yes.
That's really huge.
So true. So true. Yeah. And just valuing your time by having someone to pre-qualify by filling out some questionnaire before you get on the phone is really energetically putting it out there that you do value everyone's time. And your goal is to get clarity. That's why we call them clarity calls.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad I brought that up.
Me too.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? And anything comes up later, or anyone watching the recording, you can reach out to Jennifer, and she can, you know, answer a question or see how she can support you. And yeah, it's open there. So thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. I love the questions, and I learn and grow from these conversations too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything, and for showing up so authentically and sharing your own experiences. It really helps. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.